Today we're going to discuss some of the character creation and customization aspects of Biomutant, including races and classes for the upcoming open-world action role-playing game developed by Experiment 101 and published by THQ Nordic. With express permission from THQ, we're allowed to share this with you about 3 weeks ahead of launch, and you can look forward to much more Biomutant content from us around May 25th. That's all I can say for now about this, so let's jump into character creation. During Biomutant character creation, you'll get to customize nearly every aspect from visual appearance all the way down to environmental resistances. You'll get to select your breed, which is for all intents and purposes your race. You'll get to select your attributes, your resistance, your fur type and color, and finally your class. We'll handle these in order, so let's begin with breed first. In Biomutant, there are 6 breeds you can choose from during character creation, and these are Primal, Dumdon, Rex, Hyla, Fip, and Murgel. These not only dictate some of your total stat values, but they determine the basic body type of your character. Since Biomutant does feature classes, this means some breeds will work better with certain classes than others. Let's look at these a bit deeper and see what each does. Primal breeds have rather low melee damage compared to some others, and they don't have particularly high intellect and health either, but they have the highest critical chance of all breeds. This makes them well suited to ranged combat or melee combat that relies more on speed than raw power. You might recognize this breed in particular because it's the one used in promotional materials, including the cover and atomic edition of the game. Dumdons have the highest melee damage of all breeds, but they lack health and energy regen. This makes them well suited to melee combat, but much like the primal breeds, they are better off playing in an agile, more roguelike nature than a straight-up tank due to lack of health. The Rex breed is extremely well balanced and is sort of a jack-of-all-trades breed because it has very high health, decent melee damage, and relatively good power, key energy, and energy regen. This allows them to play any class effectively, and they are a solid choice for any new player. Hyla have the highest health and armor of any breed in Biomutant, making them tougher to kill than others. They have less power and key energy than Rex breeds, making them less suited to play classes that use psionics, and a better choice for melee or ranged combat. The Fip breed has the highest power, key energy, and energy regen of any breed in Biomutant, making them the perfect choice to use psionics. If you want to play a mage in Biomutant, then this is the right breed for you. Murgels have similar stats to the Primal breed, but they have less critical chance and excel at trading by having an increased barter stat. They also have the highest loot chance of any breed. Gear and equipment play a huge role in success or failure in Biomutant, so picking Murgel can be a tremendous boon. The next thing you'll do in Biomutant during character creation is mutate your character by selecting how you'd like to spend your attribute points. By default, you'll have 28 in each attribute with 10 in luck, which is not affected by character creation. You have a total of 150 attribute points, however, you cannot take any attribute below 10, which leaves you with 90 attribute points to distribute in whatever way you wish. There are 6 attributes in Biomutant, and each one affects stats of your character. These are Vitality, Strength, Intellect, Charisma, Agility, and Luck. What's really interesting about the way this is handled is that your character will change visually as you decide which attributes you want to prioritize. Taking Strength, for example, makes your character look more buff, while increasing Intellect will make you have a bigger head. Let's take a closer look at attributes in Biomutant and see just exactly how they affect your stats. Vitality directly affects the health of your character, allowing you to take more hits before dying. Although the armor stat is covered under the same attribute, it appears it does not increase or decrease based on your vitality. This would make sense since you should be gaining this from your actual armor. Strength directly affects your melee damage, and there is no carry weight in Biomutant, so this is not a reason to place points into this attribute. You want to increase this if you plan to melee at all in combat, or if this is your focus. Intellect affects your power, key energy, and your energy regen. I believe power is how strong your psionics are, key energy is how much total energy you have, and energy regen is how quickly it recovers. This should mean Intellect is a fantastic attribute if you plan to use psionics, because they will hit harder and you can cast them more often. The Charisma attribute directly affects your barter stat, which I can only assume makes things cheaper to buy and things you sell more profitable. I don't quite know how Charisma plays into dialogue choices yet, but I think it would be safe to assume the higher this is, the easier it is to persuade people. Agility directly affects your move speed, making you faster or slower. Moving quickly not only makes you harder to hit, but can also allow you to get into striking distance more easily if you're a melee-focused character, or get you out of striking distance if you're a ranged character. It's an all-around good attribute that just about any build can benefit from. Since you cannot raise or lower luck specifically during character creation, it's hard to know if this increases your critical chance and loot chance directly or not. It is possible that it works much like Vitality and Armor, and that you may need to game items or select breeds or classes that increase critical chance or loot chance directly. Because of the way the attribute distribution is handled in Biomutant, you will not be able to place points exactly where you want them to go, but instead you must lean towards a playstyle. That is to say, if you want more strength and agility, you will by nature have less charisma, intellect, and vitality. For this reason, I highly recommend you decide what class you want to play before finalizing this decision, as it will influence this heavily. Once you've finished distributing your attribute points, you'll have to choose your resistances, and much like attributes, you won't be able to assign these directly. Resistances prevent you from taking damage in hazardous areas of the game of the matching type, of which there are 4: heat, cold, radioactivity, and biohazard. If you're exploring a radioactive area, your radioactivity resistance will not only make it take longer for you to become affected, but will also reduce the damage you take once you are affected. The same is true for all other hazards and resistances. You'll have a total of 25% resistance, and you can spend this in any way possible using a system nearly identical to attributes. Don't worry too much about this aspect, as you will gain more resistances later on from your gear. Once resistances have been taken care of, you'll get to choose your fur type and pattern, as well as primary and secondary colors. This is obviously a personal preference, but there are many choices here, and you can spend some time on it. Once that is finished, you'll continue on to class selection, which is the last part of character creation in Biomutant. There are 5 classes to choose from, and each comes with its own unique abilities that will affect your gameplay in some way. These classes are Deadeye, Commando, Psi-freak, Saboteur, and Sentinel. Let's take a look at these and see what they do. The Deadeye class increases your critical chance, and their ability is Perfect Reload, which allows you to reload your ranged weapons instantly and increases the damage of your next magazine by 20%. The Deadeye class is a natural choice for those specializing in ranged weapons and pairs well with Primal, Hyla, and Murgel breeds. The Commando class has less critical chance than all other classes but the Saboteur, and their ability Fury increases all ranged weapon damage to their target by 10%. The Commando class is also a great choice for those wishing to specialize in ranged weapons and pairs with the Primal, Hyla, or Murgel breeds as well. Psi-freaks enjoy the same critical chance increase that Deadeyes do, but they gain Spark Ball for their ability, which allows them to throw a lightning ball in a given direction, damaging enemies in its path. Additionally, they gain Mega Mind, increasing their key energy regen by a further 20%. The Psi-freak class is perfect for those wishing to use psionics in combat and pairs well with either the Fip or Rex breeds. The Saboteur doesn't get a bonus to critical chance, but instead has the ability Twin Silver Grip, allowing this class to dual-wield one-handed melee weapons. They also gain the Hypergenetic ability, reducing their dodge energy cost by 20%. The Saboteur excels in melee combat, where they can take advantage of their dual melee weapons and use their reduced dodge cost to really shine. This class pairs well with the Primal, Dumdon, or Hyla breeds. Sentinels have the highest critical chance of any class in Biomutant. They also gain the Toughness ability, which increases their armor, making them harder to kill. Since Sentinels don't excel at any particular type of combat, they are perfect for the player who wants to retain the flexibility of using any style of play or weapon they pick up. This class can pair well with any breed, but if you want the most flexibility, Hyla, Primal, or Rex are all good choices. That's all for our video on character creation in Biomutant. We cannot wait for the release of the game for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC via Steam on May 25th, and we have much more content planned, including a review, a getting started guide, and many build guides. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on those. Also be sure to bookmark the Biomutant Wiki for all your specific questions about the game, like what weapons and armor there are, as well as skills and abilities.